Hey everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me, and as you saw in the previous pictures, I'm going to show you how to do a handbag style gift bag. Obviously it can be used for any occasion, so let's move this over. These are all the parts and I'm just going to show you how to put them together. So let's get started. Put them all over there. So we're going to start with a rectangle. And we want this, you'd need to untick maintain aspect ratio. And we want this to be 11 width and 8 height. And then we're going to bring it up to the X and Y. Make sure it's on 0, 0. And then we're going to add the score lines. So path tool. The first one we're going to do is a cross. So we want it on the 5-inch line. Check the Y when you go across, make sure it's on the 5, and then we're going to do 2 score lines down from the top to that score line. So the first one's at 3. Make sure this is going to be the X now. Make sure it's at 3, and the next one will be at 10. So now change all of them. So if you grab all of them, hold shift and click on the shape, that will let go of it. And now they're all score lines. So the next thing we need to do, when we're cutting out pieces of a box or whatever you need to trim off the excess, I would normally use this triangle here. But because if I bring this shape in, this bit is the bottom of the bag and we need straight lines on that. So what we're going to do is use this one, the right angled triangle, instead. But we're going to make it extremely narrow. Now, if we duplicate and flip and then duplicate again. So we need one of these for here, to do this little bit here, one for over here and one for here. Now the way to make sure you've got it in place, we are going to get a bit closer in, and what you want to do is make sure this blue line, when you click on your triangle, this blue line wants to be over the score line, or just on the score line, honestly. Like that. And then this little square on the corner needs to be in line with the score line going up. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same over here. And then for this one, we just need to make sure that the bit that here, I mean, you could do it to the point if you want to, but I want to make sure I'm going a little bit over the line, like that. Just make sure that it cuts off where this score line goes across. So display, zoom to matte size, and then I am just going to make them a little bit thinner. So I put the wrong triangles on each one, sorry about that. So now we need to grab the rectangle and all the triangles and click subtract, and there's your shape. That's the main part of it. Now if you want a mat, you need a rectangle and you need to size it. So we're going to go 1/4 inch down so that it fits inside the front of the rectangle. Now the front piece of the rectangle, this piece here, is 7 by 5. That means we need to do 6 3/4 or 6.75 by 4 3/4. And as you can see, it will fit just snugly inside as a front mat. You only need one for the front. Now before I forget, we are just going to need, for the inside of the bag when it's done, at the bottom, you just need that extra support, and it also covers the mess of putting it together. So for that, I find the easiest thing to do, although the bottom of the bag is going to be 3 inches by 7, you just want to take a scraping off so that it fits inside the score lines and just inside there, but not a 1/4 inch. So I'd say 6.9 by 2.9, and you'll see it's literally, it just fits inside it so that it won't bend the bag or bump up against the score lines and make it curl or whatever. So that's to go inside the bag. You only need one of them. I am just going to duplicate, because we also want at the top same 6.9 but just by 1 inch, and we're going to have 2 of them, 1 each side, just as extra support for the handles in case you've got anything heavy you want to put in the bag. So it's just extra support, 2 of them. Now for the clasp. Now this one I fluted it both sides because it would go over and fold, so there's one at the back and one at the front. So this time I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but what I'll do, I'll leave both in the file available on my Facebook group page, so if you can decide which one you want to choose. I'm going to show you now. So I used a rounded rectangle and the fluted circle there. And we are going to move over here to do it. So what I've done before, I just made sure that the 3 bottom ones, and then I moved that down so that the 3 top ones, and I welded it. That's how I done this one. But what I want to do now is bring that up and over so that it covers it. And then if we just want to, okay, let's get a bit closer. I need to make sure that the rectangle goes over most of the circle, and can you see here I haven't gone down far enough, so I need to I'm just going to bring it out a little bit more, and then we'll centralize it again. There we go. So now it covers all of it. So then all we're going to do is weld, and now you can see the shape. And then if you want to do a mat for that as well, so there's 2 layers. So I've done it on a 0.12 inward round because it's circular, and there we go. Display, zoom to mat size. So that's the clasp that I've done. You can see there's a hole there. That would be for if you want to put a tassel or a ribbon bow or whatever you want to put through there. So I'll show you how to do that. You don't have to do it. We want 2 circles. This one we need tiny, so we're going to tick maintain aspect ratio for this, and we want it at 0.25, and we want this one at 0.5. This one we're going to duplicate a few times, and first of all I want them 2, and I'm going to put them together, so centrally and mid align, and then we're going to move them into place. And what we do, we grab all 3 of them and centrally align them again to make sure that this one is right in the middle. Now the reason I've got 2 will become clear. We have 2 layers and we need to put a hole through both. So if you grab one circle, hold shift and grab the top layer and subtract, and then grab the circle, hold shift and the bottom layer and subtract. And now I'm going to send the bottom layer back to the back, and if I colour it, you can see that the holes stay there for both of them, and they will line up exactly where you need them. So that's the clasp. You can put a score in the middle of you if you want for the middle piece, but I think it might be better to just curl it and put it over that way. We'll see what works best. So now we're going to do the same for the, because we need handles. So for the matte layer and the bag itself, which means we need another 2, and I still need 1 spare. So again, we're going to put them together, and then we're going to duplicate that too, because we need 1 each side. I'm just going to move that. So what we need to do is now make sure that this fits nicely into the center, and then we have to put the holes either side of that. Make sure you grab both the holes and put them either side. Okay, we're going to move in closer. Just make sure these are centrally aligned. That's better. So now, I don't know if you can see the grid very clearly on the screen, but I'm making sure that this outside line here is lined up with the grid. And I'm going to do the same on this side, so that each side of this, the circles go to the next grid line. That's how I've done it. And then if you hold them both, make sure you've got all 4, and align them through the middle there, so you know they're at the same stage. And then you want the Y, if you're still on the X and Y, at 0.5. Okay, so now you need to get 1 hole from each side, and then we are going to also choose the front layer, and we're going to do the same thing that we've done with this hole. So I've got 1 circle from each side and the mat, and I'm going to subtract, and then you are going to choose again the other circle from each side and the bag and subtract, and that way now you've got the holes there too, and they fit either side of the clutch, so that's not going to get in the way. So if we now display zoom to matte size and go back out, then these will go over that, and the holes are within it, as you can see. And now all we need is the big circle. So we need the big circle with the little circle, and you are going to centralize them both ways. Just make sure the little one's on top, and subtract, and I'll colour it so you can see what it does. It's actually not a very great colour, is it? There we go. And these are extra supports that you're going to put over each hole on the outside and the inside. So you need 8 of these, 2 for the front, 2 for the front inside, 2 for the back, and 2 for the back inside. So you need 8 rings. That's just extra support, because you need the extra support for a bag to really work. Okay, I think that's everything, so I will see you over at the craft table. Hi guys, I'm sorry, just going over a couple of things. I was doing the practice bag and I realised this bit here you don't actually need. So this little tab here you don't need at all. So what we're going to do is just, if I get in a bit closer, you just need to make sure that this you grab a square. This square is along the dotted line because that's where you want the line to be, and just before the next line here. So you can see there's might actually, you want the tiniest space that you can, and then you, once you've got that, you hold shift and grab the bag as well and go back to edit, and I'll tell you what, I'll display, zoom to mat size so that you can see it, and you're just going to subtract, and that gives you that. And then all you've got to do, if we go back in, you see the score lines there, and you'll see there's an extra line there that we don't need. So we're just going to click again, and you can see there's some extra nodes just where we've joined everything together. We just need to get rid of the extras, and there we go. Now all we need to do is concentrate on the score lines, which is why I was on the layers. And we don't want the lines going down, we want the ones going across. And now we've got to find which end. There we go. So it should be the first 4 or 5. There we go. So then we'll delete them. And then they are not there, they're out of the way. So that was very simple. Display, zoom to mat size. Now, do you remember with the buckle, or the where you can put a buckle on the purse, the bit that comes down here? I was talking about put a tassel in the hole, and then I realised I hadn't shown you how to do a tassel. So I am just going to get rid of this so that I can show you how to do this. So this extra bit is handy if you want to add beads or things like that on top of the tassel. Then it's very good somewhere to feed your wire through before you carry on. But I'm going to show you how to do it anyway, because it makes no difference either way, and it's very, very simple. So first of all, we want a rectangle, and I want it width 8 inches and height just 2 inches. So you can see there, that's the size of that. Okay, now the next thing we need is to just take this little piece out, just so that we've got that little piece. Again, you don't have to do it. I'm going to take it all up to 0, 0, and I reckon about 3/4 of an inch will do, but I mean, you do what you prefer. And all you're going to do is, again, get a shape over the top of it. Let me just move the one I've already done out of the way. You don't need a lot, and you don't need it to be exact either. As long as you've got a little bit there. I wouldn't go more than an inch. I reckon about 3/4 of an inch. And you only want a little bit at the top. I haven't measured this, so I've gone 1/4 inch down. That sounds about right to me. So then you're just going to grab both and subtract. And then you've got that shape there, which is for that. For the cuts, honestly, it's literally just that. And then you're just going to keep duplicating. That's 4, 8, 16. We'll do one more. I think that will be enough. And then we're going to grab them all. Use this one topper line so that they're all on the same level. And then this one, and I worked it out, as if you put 0.12, that's about the right width apart. So it's about 1/8 of an inch. It looks like I haven't done enough, so I'm just going to duplicate. I remember now I had to take 4 away. So let's do that. And again, we are going to make sure they're all lined up and evenly spaced. And then we are going to move them up to here. And then we can size them so they go just a little bit over there. And then we are going to put it not too far, but a little bit over the line as well, so that we can make sure they all cut the tassels evenly. Let's group the tassels. And that is both of the bits. You send them over together and they will cut the tassels evenly for you. They cut them excellent. I have tested it, and that's the right size. You can change the size, change the length. The size, 8 inches is about right regardless of the length of the okay, let's just do this one. Regardless of the length you want, the 8 inches is about right to make a tassel. I've tried different sizes. The 2 inches is a good size for fitting on the bag, but if you just want to resize it, you just change the height, and that will not make any difference at all to the width of the cuts or anything like that. So you can choose whatever size you want. Anyway, I thought that would help, and I forgot to add it on at the video, so I do apologise. Now I really will see you over at the craft table. Okay, so I am over at the craft table, and I've got all my bits. So we've got 2 of these. The paper I'm using is from a craft consortium pad. That's my base, and that's the 2 strips. Now I'm just going to show you. So this is the finished product in another style. So this is my practice one. So all the mistakes that I've made, I've managed to fix on this. So the tassel is a bit longer than I wanted, so I've adjusted the size for that. And the strips inside, I didn't put holes in, and for this string I wanted the holes in, so I had to make some holes and make sure the knots didn't go through. But this time I am using ribbon, and I didn't want the holes in this because I want it all concealed, so I'll show you how I've done that. Okay, so first things first, we just want one of these. I'm just going to put the score points in. So you can see a bit better that way, and that is going just to fit on there like that, and you make sure the holes match up. So I'm just going to do that first so I know it's on before we start putting it together. Again, you don't have to use a mat. I just personally prefer it. Also, if you're not doing holes on the bars, you don't need as many rings. Okay, so just make sure it fits exactly over the holes. So that's the most important bit, that first bit there. Now I'm just going to get this other one. It's a very simple put together, to be honest. And you're just going to put glue on this tab here. And attach them like that. Make sure your score lines are level. And if you want to make sure it's level all the way, if you fold it in half, you can make sure that the top is level all the way along as well. And then we'll go over this side. And put that tab together. So now we've got both sides of the bag stuck together. You could burnish it down to make sure it sticks all the way. Let's see if I can show you on the camera. So all I'm doing is rubbing the bone folder across the whole thing, just to make sure it's stuck down nice and tight. And then we're going to go upside down. Now, because I've already stuck the front, you want to make sure whenever you're making box bags, anything, that the fold is showing on the front. You don't want to stick it that way round so that you can see the seam on the front. So you make sure that the front piece is the last piece to go down. So depending if you're using the extra base, you could do it so that you do the back and the two sides in between, like that, so that it's just as tidy inside. Or if you've got the bottom anyway, it doesn't matter if you do that one first and then that one. So let's do it that way. And then if you go inside and again use the bone folder and push it all down. Easier to do from the inside. And then just as your extra, you're just going to stick your little bit in. Now it's up to you which way you put it, to match the outside or to match the inside. We match the inside. So you've got a tiniest gap. And then again use the bone folder to help stick it down securely. And then just before we do anything else, you want to pinch these two in a little bit and just make sure that goes like that. Okay, so now we want this, and what I want to do first is just give it a little bit of a curl to help it go over the bag. You can put a score line in halfway if you like, but I preferred not doing that. If you bulk the bag out so that you can only close some of it, you don't get affected, or as affected I should say. Okay, now I'm just going to add the yellow circle, the extra gold circles to this as security. I didn't add them onto the kit, but I think because I'm adding a tassel, I'm going to add this little bit of gold. It's just extra stability for whatever you put in there. Okay, now you need to know where it's going, like so we're going to stick the back, and you only want to stick a little bit. But we're going to put it at the front first so that you can see that it's in the middle where you want it, either side of the holes, and then you're just going to, actually you could do it like that if it's easier. And then before it's well and truly stuck, just want to make sure it's straight. There we go. going to go over with the bone folder just to make sure it's all glued down nice and tight. You would give it plenty of time to take. And then it's your handles. So this time I'm going to use ribbon. Last time I used some gold string I got off a parcel somewhere, which I think went really well with this. So this is that faux leather paper, and it came out really solid. I really like the way this came out. It's a nice looking little handbag style. So now we want out there, I'd say, and I'll get one exactly the same length because you don't want to do different lengths. Okay, so what we're doing now is just feeding it through, and instead of tying a knot like I did before, I'm going to stick it down so that I can cover it with the strip, and you're not even going to see it on the inside, and it's more secure. Best way to stick ribbon is normally hot glue, but I haven't got mine ready, so then I would use red tape. And because something's going over it, it doesn't matter. So we just want I might have gone over the top with the size of that, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just putting, if I stick them on I'll show you afterwards, but I'm putting 2 bits of red tape either side of the hole, like that I can stick the ribbon to. It doesn't matter how sticky it gets because the strip of card is going over it, but you want enough that it keeps it secure inside. So I'm just going to stick that there. Then thread the other one through. I want enough that it will hold the ribbon. And then we can stick that down. I'm gluing the other side because it's the inner panel. Making sure the ribbon is tucked in so that it's not showing above the, that one keeps wanting to come back out. There we go. And do the same the other side. Okay. I forgot to put the nice gold circles that are protecting it. I forgot to stick them on, so I am going to fix this one, but I can't really fix that one. Put them on beforehand is the answer. So it's working as a double whammy. It's hiding the ribbon behind, so you don't get the knots like in this one. You can see the knots inside. So it's, I think it's nicer not to do that. So there we have most of our bag ready. So I've cut out the tassel in the same paper that we made the main bag in. And what you want to do first is just grab a little bit of it. I'm using a cocktail stick, so it's a small gap. And you can see that's what you want to do first. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. It's a rose gold twine. I can't find my gold one, so this is going to have to do. And what I want is a loop in it. And I'm going to tie a knot. And before we do anything else, I'm just going to make sure that that knot is below this line. So that's what I want. The knot below the line. Now I'll just and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of glue. Just so that it sticks there. And then we're just going to keep going. And that is your tassel. Okay, so now all you need is a little bit. Now I've just used a little bit of scrap gold card I've got, and it is too big, so I've got to cut it down. Just going to put it through my trimmer. We're not going to use all of this, obviously, because it doesn't take that much to go around, and you don't want to go around too much with this. You can do this in fancy patterns as well. Okay, so we're going to curl it so it doesn't feel... Actually, I'm going to start from that end, it's a bit neater. We're going to curl it just a little bit. And you're just going to stick one end down. I'm using gold again because I've used the gold circles, so I need it to... And actually on the pattern there is a bit of gold marbling as well. so then I am just going to do a little bit, and you want to go a little bit over, but not too much. You don't want it too bulky, that's all. Don't do me. You have to ignore that that's rose gold and not gold. I couldn't find the gold string that I've got like this, so that's your tassel. I am just going to get a clip, just a peg, to hold it in place while it sticks together. And while we're doing that, so although I'm putting a tassel on the front, I wasn't sure about this being so plain, and you can add so much to it. First off, I'm going to use Velcro dots. I know you can use magnets or a ribbon through the hole to tie it together. I mean, there's just so many options to add to this. I'm going to use Velcro dots, and in the last one they were a bit small, so I'm going to go a little bit bigger. So you put them together, the hook and the loop, and you put them, you're going to want it just above the circle where your tassel is going. And then what you need to do is stick that down. Be firm. There we go. And then make sure that both sides are stuck down really well. So now that will close nicely. And there's the main gift bag. So then it's up to you what you want to add to it. Let's see if that tassel's... There we go. So now all we've got to do is put it through something for it to hang. What I might do... I wonder if I've done it big enough that I don't... So... There we go. Okay, and then we can just put them back into place. So that's it with the tassel on. Now if you want to do something else, I've bought this stuff over. You could try a nice bit of lace across, like that. Maybe with some, no, I've got to be a lighter colour. Some gems, like that. Or white flowers. Or what about a small bit of lace with just some pearls across it. You know, I've got these drop pearls, forgot about them. They might look nice just across. So this is where you could emboss this colour card first as well. So there are a lot of options for decorating. I will leave that up to you guys, but this is the basic gift bag. So this is just out of 12 by 12 paper card. There we go. And then this one is out of faux leather paper. It's a lot thicker. There we go. So I hope that helped, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.